The rain felt like needles against my skin. Cold, heavy, relentless. I stood outside holding one suitcase and a soaked backpack while thunder shook the sky above me. And behind me, my stepmother locked the front door. Actually locked it, right in front of my face. Then through the glass window, she smiled, while I stood outside in the rain 3 hours after burying my father. My name is Daniel Hayes. I was 24 years old, and on the same day, I lost my father. I lost my home too. At least, that's what I believed. Because 6 weeks later, a video my father secretly recorded before dying would destroy every lie my family built. But standing there that night, I had absolutely no idea. I just knew one thing. The only person who ever truly protected me was gone. Or at least, that's what I thought. Growing up, my father was my best friend. Not one of those movie fathers who acted perfect. He worked too much, forgot birthdays occasionally, burned pancakes every Sunday morning. But he showed up, always. Baseball games, school meetings, late-night talks, everything. Then when I was 13, my mother died unexpectedly. And honestly, Dad changed after that. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like someone trying surviving instead of living. Then 2 years later, he met Vanessa Hayes. Perfect smile, perfect clothes, perfect public image. Everyone loved her immediately. Church friends, neighbors, Dad, even me, at first. Because manipulative people rarely arrive looking dangerous. They arrive looking comforting. For the first year, everything felt normal. Then slowly, small things changed. Dad spent less time with me. Vanessa started handling finances. House decisions became her decisions. Nothing obvious, nothing big, just little things. Very little things. Then Dad got sick. Pancreatic cancer. Aggressive, fast, cruel. The doctors gave him 18 months. He lasted 11. Those 11 months destroyed me. Because watching someone disappear slowly hurts differently than losing them suddenly. Every hospital visit felt smaller. Every conversation felt heavier. And near the end, Dad became strangely serious. One afternoon, while sitting beside his hospital bed, he grabbed my wrist suddenly. Hard. Actually hard. "Danny," he whispered. Long pause. Very long pause. "If anything feels wrong." I frowned. "What?" Then he looked directly at me, straight into my eyes, and quietly said, "Trust nobody immediately." Silence. Because honestly, I thought medication confused him. I thought pain medication caused paranoia. I squeezed his hand, smiled, told him everything would be okay. I still hate myself for that. Because 6 weeks later, Dad died, and everything changed immediately. Not gradually, immediately. The funeral ended around 6 in the evening. People hugged me, cried, left flowers. Then everyone slowly disappeared, until only family remained. Vanessa, my stepbrother Ryan, me. We drove home silently. And honestly, I felt empty, too exhausted to think, too heartbroken to function. I walked inside the house, went upstairs, started packing a few things for the night. Then suddenly, Vanessa appeared at my bedroom door. Arms crossed, cold expression. No sadness, no sympathy, nothing. Then, "How long were you planning staying?" I blinked. "What?" She stared. "The house belongs to family." Silence. Because suddenly, my stomach dropped. "No, No, no, no. Vanessa, I whispered. What are you talking about? She crossed her arms tighter. Your father changed things. Changed things. Then she handed me documents. Property documents. Estate paperwork. Legal forms. And suddenly, everything inside me froze. Because according to those papers, Dad left the house to Vanessa. Everything. House. Savings. Accounts. Everything. Leaving me almost nothing. I stared silently. Because honestly, it made no sense. Dad would never do that. Never. Then Ryan laughed quietly behind her. Actually laughed. And suddenly, I understood. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. But grief makes people slow. Grief makes people miss things. And before I fully understood anything, Vanessa opened the front door, grabbed my suitcase, and threw it outside. Rain exploded against the driveway instantly. Then my backpack followed. Then clothes. Then boxes. I stared in complete disbelief. What are you doing? Vanessa looked directly at me, then smiled. Cold smile. The house owner wants privacy, and slammed the door. Lock. Click. Silence. Just rain. Thunder. And me. Standing outside, the only home I ever knew. Then suddenly, my phone vibrated. Unknown number. I answered slowly. Sleepy older voice. Daniel. Yes. Silence. Then, this is Martin Hayes. My heartbeat stopped instantly. Your father asked me calling only if something happened. Long pause. Then he whispered, Oh God, she did it already. Because my father recorded something before dying, and Vanessa accidentally triggered it. Rain kept falling. Cold water soaked through my clothes. My suitcase sat beside the sidewalk. My father's old watch still wrapped around my wrist. And honestly, I couldn't even feel the rain anymore. Because shock hits differently. It turns emotions off temporarily. I stood staring at the house. My house. Dad's house. Watching warm yellow lights glow through windows while I stood outside freezing. Then Martin spoke again. Daniel. I realized I hadn't said anything for almost 15 seconds. H, how do you know something happened? Long silence. Then paper moving, drawers opening. Because suddenly, Martin sounded busy, very busy. Daniel, he said carefully, your father prepared legal protections. My heartbeat accelerated immediately. What protections? Silence. Then, he became concerned months ago. Concerned. Funny word, because concern sounds temporary, small. Dad wasn't paranoid, ever. If he became concerned, something serious happened. What are you talking about? I whispered. Martin sighed heavily. Your father believed someone around him manipulated financial decisions. Everything stopped. Manipulated. Then suddenly, memories started returning. Vanessa taking over online banking. Vanessa insisting Dad stay home. Vanessa answering his phone constantly. Vanessa saying stress affected recovery. God. Then another memory hit me. 3 months earlier, I walked into Dad's office unexpectedly. Vanessa stood beside his desk, holding documents. She looked nervous immediately, then smiled too quickly. At the time, I ignored it because honestly, cancer changes perspective. You stop questioning small things. Survival becomes more important than suspicion. Then headlights appeared. Black SUV, then another, then another. 3 vehicles slowly entered the driveway. My stomach dropped instantly because one driver stepped outside. Martin Actually, Martin, standing there in a dark coat, holding folders. Behind him, two men stepped out carrying legal briefcases. Vanessa opened the front door immediately. At first, she looked annoyed. Then she saw Martin, and suddenly her face changed. Actually changed. Fear. Real fear. "What is this?" she snapped. Martin looked toward her calmly, then toward me, then smiled slightly. Emergency activation. Silence. Vanessa went pale instantly, because suddenly she recognized those words. And honestly, that terrified me more than anything, because guilty people only panic when they understand consequences before everyone else. Because Dad's emergency clause wasn't protecting money, it was protecting me. Martin walked toward the porch slowly, rain hitting his shoulders, folders under his arm. Vanessa stood frozen, actually frozen. What emergency activation? I asked. Martin looked at me, then at Vanessa, then back at me. And for several seconds, nobody spoke. Then Martin handed papers toward Vanessa. She stared, and immediately the color disappeared from her face. Completely. "What is that?" I whispered. Martin looked directly at me. "Your father changed his estate structure 8 months ago." Silence. What? He suspected pressure. Pressure. No, 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 no. Because suddenly I remembered Dad becoming quieter, more serious, watching Vanessa carefully. God. Then Martin continued. "Your father believed certain people expected him, not surviving." Everything stopped. Actually stopped. Because suddenly Ryan looked down. Vanessa stopped breathing. And honestly, that reaction told me everything. Dad wasn't preparing for death. He was preparing for betrayal. But the first file Martin opened revealed something much worse than stolen inheritance papers. Martin opened a folder slowly. Inside sat one flash drive. Simple black drive. No labels. Then he looked at me. "Your father left instructions." My hands shook instantly. "Instructions?" Martin nodded. He said, "Only play this if certain conditions happened." Silence. Then looked toward Vanessa. Long silence. "Looks like conditions happened." My stomach tightened immediately. Martin inserted the drive into a laptop. The screen flickered. Static appeared. Then suddenly, Dad appeared. Hospital room. Weak smile. Pale face. But alive. Actually alive. I stopped breathing instantly, because for the first time in months, I heard his voice again. "Buddy." Instant tears. Real tears. Because nobody called me Buddy except Dad. Then his smile disappeared. And suddenly, his expression became serious. Very serious. "If you're watching this." Long pause. "Vanessa removed you from the house." Everything froze. No movement. No breathing. Nothing. Because somehow, Dad knew. He actually knew. But what Dad said next destroyed Vanessa completely. Dad stared directly into the camera, then quietly said, "I hired investigators." Silence exploded. Vanessa physically stepped backward. Ryan looked terrified, because suddenly everything changed. Dad continued. "For 8 months, I tracked financial activity. Photos appeared. Documents appeared. Transfers. Accounts. Meetings. Then one image stopped me breathing. Vanessa meeting secretly with a real estate broker. Months earlier, another. Vanessa and Ryan discussing property sales. Another. Estate restructuring discussions. God, they weren't waiting for life after Dad. They were planning it before he died. And suddenly, Everything made horrifying sense. But Dad saved his final sentence for me. Dad looked into the camera one last time, then smiled softly. Daniel, long pause. If this happened, I need you understanding something. Tears blurred everything instantly. You were never the problem. Silence. Because honestly, I spent years wondering whether I disappointed him, whether I failed him, whether I wasn't enough. Then, family protects. Family doesn't replace. Family doesn't wait for your pain. And son, I love you. The screen went black. Pure silence. Rain kept falling outside. But honestly, I didn't feel cold anymore. Because suddenly, I realized something. Vanessa didn't destroy my life. Ryan didn't steal my family. They only exposed themselves. 3 months later, fraud investigations started. Forgery reviews opened. Estate documents collapsed. The house stayed mine. Legally. Completely. And sometimes, I still sit on Dad's porch during rainy nights. Because now I understand something. The final video didn't change everything. The truth did. Sometimes people don't steal money. Sometimes they try stealing your place inside your own family. But truth has a strange way of surviving, even after loss, even after grief, even after death. If this story touched you, stay with Silent Revenge Stories, because sometimes the people who leave us still protect us years later. If you discovered your own family betrayed you after losing someone you loved, would you forgive them or walk away forever?